started. I learned that from you, Enzo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everybody. And I know we are really late, but we were trying to face the technical glitches, the connections across the globe. But my celebrity friend, as you can see, is already here. And thank you, Enzo. I've been like waiting desperately and anxiously for you. So, good evening, everybody, to another episode of Wine Shine Quarantine with Shalini. And today I have this guest who everybody's been waiting for with bated breath. We had to cancel it the first time. The second time we were running late. I guess this is all not a coincidence. You all had to wait for the good thing. Good things always make you wait. So here he is, Enzo, my friend, who is, I'm going to read it out actually because there's so many things to him that I'm going to read this one out. He's a futurist, strategist, philanthropist, diplomat, manager of innovative programs and global campaigns, and he's been leading the United Nations positions worldwide, managing multi-million initiatives, including the Secretary General's Unite campaign to end violence against women in New York. And I can actually go on, but what I want to do is that I want to welcome him on the show and hand it over to him to tell us all the exciting stuff that he does. Enzo, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Shalini, for inviting me on your show. It's a privilege to also share with your audience. And I know that we are global, and as you are Shalini.global. So I'm so thrilled to, share a moment with you and with your audience regarding my life and professional experience. So I know that women empowerment is a topic that is at the heart of your work, and we're going to certainly focus on it. As you mentioned, I've been the manager of the United Nations Secretary General's campaign that is called Unite to End Violence Against Women and Girls. And actually at that time, it was around 2010, that was the only Secretary General's campaign that has a global scope. So as a manager of that particular operation, I introduced two key concepts that are celebrity diplomacy, and the other one is new technologies. And we're going, I hope, to elaborate a bit further on these two different concepts. But my purpose was always to innovate the way we convey messages to global and massive audiences so that we can generate a broader impact. And I think that, the two major crises that humanity is facing right now. One is the environmental crisis. I go beyond this COVID-19 pandemic, which is it's another public health, crisis, and it will be over, I hope soon. But the structural challenges that we are facing are certainly environmental degradation, and the other one is social inclusion. And in many parts of the world, women and girls are, excluded by, either politics or stereotypes or cultures from accessing economic opportunities. So using these two concepts, celebrity diplomacy and new technologies, are certainly, good tactics to facilitate this inclusion. But I'm sure we're going to discuss a bit more about that in the course of the show.
Yes, that's the idea. Actually, I was planning to take this question towards the end of the show. But however, now that you have elaborated on it, I know that you innovate strategies and you've been, helping with the violence against women. Considering the circumstances that we are going through, and especially in India at this point in time, I think there's nothing that's not happening in 2020. We're of course faced with this COVID-19. We actually had an earthquake yesterday. And I've been hearing that the cases in domestic violence have been rising by the second, literally, because I think couples have been caught in together into their lockdown together in their homes, and it's just not doing very well, the situation. And you've always talked about innovative strategies, and you talk about celebrity diplomacy. And I want you to elaborate on these new technologies. I want you to elaborate on this as to how should we sort the domestic violence in the current time, in the current situation.
True. No, you are absolutely right. There are statistics that I think apply to most countries in the world that show that during the quarantine period, the denounces of domestic violence have increased exponentially. And obviously, the confinement, being in the same space, husband and wife, or, man and woman, certainly, especially during a period of also social and economic tension, that, instills a burden also psychologically. And it's even more frequent for violent personalities to, become more aggressive. So that is a fact that domestic violence has been increasing during this quarantine period. Now, the strategies remain, most the same. But as you mentioned, the new technologies, I know that many governments have created emergency phone like lines, right?
Yeah.
That traditionally have been phone like emergency calls that women can do to the local security forces or police to denounce violence. But there is more and more use of also social media and internet, so that an abused woman does have to take the phone and speak, but simply send a text message, or a simple use of social media that is more discreet than making a phone call. So considering that most of the world population now has access to a mobile device, so that has really increased the access to emergency calls from abused women and girls. And that's why you see this increase in the numbers, in the statistics. And now the response to this really depends on the capacity of the each country police or social services infrastructure. So it really varies depending on the country, on the continent. But certainly the new technologies in terms of social media and text messages have a highly increased access of victims of violence to denounce those behaviors.
Well, yeah, I do agree with you, and I know that the police and the government can do what they can do. However, the situation here is very different, Enzo, because they're not even able to communicate because of the fact that they're living in certain societies and they still want to keep the facade. So I'm going to take you away from this conversation. I'm going to take you to the fact that, of course, this is happening, and like you said, those options are available. But considering those options are not available, it's very important to keep a confident mental state. And you talk a lot about physio. What is the word? I'm trying to remember. It's
Psychophysical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it. I wanted to put you on the spot with this word because I've heard it so many times. And I want you to, because that I think is what is going to help at this point in time, because I do know that there's toll-free numbers and there's social media to reach out. But I'm talking about women who are not in a state to be able to do that because they don't want to make it public. So they're reaching out to people like coaches and psychologists to stay above it and deal with it. So talk about that, because that is very important at this point in time. So that is a good topic for them to, and this will be a good take back for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a few years ago, I had one of my research published by the Florida International University, FIU, which is a leading academic and research institutions worldwide. And one of the concepts that I developed is that violence in many cases is triggered by the incapacity of the individual, and in most cases is a man, to control emotions, right? To control their emotional states, particularly hunger and frustration. So in many cases you have, men, I don't want to say that it's only in those categories that have more economic difficulties, because domestic violence happens, across the board. But of course, if a man, has a frustration in terms of low income or difficult laboral relations, then after a day of work, this anger accumulates and they explode in their homes, and obviously, most likely their women and children are the most direct victims of that explosion of anger and frustration. So, and you are from India, so the yogi culture, the use of breathing, the use of visualization, the use of affirmations, of anchors, done with the different parts of the body. These techniques really help men to control their, negative emotional states, and so reduce the, occurrence of physical violence. You see, so I've always been suggesting, encouraging men to learn, simple yoga postures, simple breathing exercises, the use of your hands, of your fingers to diffuse tension, to reduce stress. So, having good sleep routines, exercise every day, eating well. Simple things, but the whole package, when you have a good, and healthy lifestyle, you sleep well, you exercise, you use this breathing and yoga positions to control your negative emotions, to control your negative thoughts. All these techniques can actually minimize the use or the explosion of violence. Because, in many cases, violence occurs not necessarily because the person is bad, but it's just because it's a natural reaction of an individual to a negative emotion, right? So in many cases, men perpetrate violence, but then they feel a sense of guilty because they are good persons. They love their, women, or they love their children. I'm not saying that all are there. There are also bad people out there, right? But I would say that I believe in the positive nature of the human being. So I think that in many cases, this violence occurs because there is no control of this emotional states. So when I say psychophysical balance, it's exactly what it means, which is when you are in balance with yourself, in balance with your body, in balance with your mind. The combination of these things leads to a better control of your emotions, right? So when you feel that you are getting, anxious, or you feel frustration, or you feel anger, or you feel, a sense of inferiority, then you apply one of these techniques, and maybe we can elaborate a bit further on some of them, and that helps controlling the use of balance as that valve of how can I say that? Balance is like an equalizer. I mean, sometimes you apply balance and then you feel again, calm, because it's energy that goes out and then you return. But then there is a sense of guilty because you have done something bad to a loved person. So that is what psychophysical balance means. And I'm not saying that this will solve the issue of domestic violence at all, but certainly in many cases that can help to, minimize the occurrence of violence and control a little bit better these emotional states.
Well said, Enzo. But like you said, in very simple words, it means the balance of mind, body, and soul, and which is something we've been talking about for a really long time. Because in these circumstances, that is really the call of the day. And I've been saying it to everybody that exercise is very, very important, because that is the way. If you start your day with exercise, the rest of the day is just perfect, and the first hour of your day determines the rest of your day. So do focus on that. And on that, I want to tell you that Enzo also does a show. Enzo, it's on xzen.tv where you do your XFit show, is it?
Yes, true, correct.
So you can all tune in to Enzo's show, which is called the XFit Show, where he shows you different things to keep that balance that he's talking about. So you have that option as well. The other topic which really intrigues me, because this is a debate that we constantly are having, and excuse me, especially while talking about women empowerment. First of all, I think women empowerment is a word which is being used and abused, because I think women have enough power. However, we talk of gender equality, but Enzo has always used the word gender harmony, and that is a word that I use as well, because I don't understand gender equality, but I understand gender harmony. So I want you to actually speak on that topic, because it's so close to my heart.
Yes. Well, this is a bit controversial topic, and for instance, at the United Nations, this concept of gender equality is very important, but I think is misinterpreted and how can I say that? It's a little bit diminishing the importance of women, because it's not that the objective is to make the woman equal to men. That's not the objective. I personally believe that women are even more powerful and smarter and have a better emotional intelligence than men in many cases. But the objective is not having like the same number of men and same number of women, or the same entitlements for men and the same entitlements for women, the same salary for men and same for women. I don't think that this is the strategic goal. For me, men and women are like in the Taoist concept of harmony. They are two aspects of the same entity, right? Which is a couple, which is the basis of any society, right? The family starts with a man and a woman, and then who create a family, and that's the foundation of any society, right? So the men and women are totally different. They are different beings, right? If you observe nature, and you see how the male tiger behaves and how the female tiger behaves, or the same with cats or dogs or any other animal. There are different type of behaviors, different types of performances. So to me, equalizing men and women is not the right thing. So I use the term harmony. And I want to give you also some practical and concrete examples, because otherwise it seems something theoretical, but it's, to me, it's really real and really practical. So for instance, I totally agree that, you know, if there is a position in an enterprise, right, in any company, and there is a CEO position, let's say, okay? So to me, the owner of the company has to hire the best individual, regardless if he or she is man or woman, right? So there must be equality of salaries, of course, of income. If the performance is the same, then there must be absolutely, I mean, I'm totally against inequality in the salary scales or in the remuneration scale. But I think this is really basic. I don't think anybody today disagrees with that. But if you're a woman, you will likely, you know, become a mother during the course of your professional career. So you will have to have different benefits from a father. So you will probably have to be more at home. You will probably be, you know, enabled to work more smart with, you know, technologies, to stay a bit more at home than in the workplace. You may need to travel less than a man, because you have to also take care of other family issues. So what I'm trying to say is that even in a company, the policies to address the work requirements of men and women must be different, must be instrumental to maximize the performance of a man or a woman in a different ways, because we are different individuals. We have different physical capacities, different emotional abilities. You see what I mean? It's not a matter who is smarter or is stronger. It's how to create those conditions that maximize the qualities, the strengths, the performance of an individual, right? And that, to me, is harmony. I give you the example of one company, you know. I think that any owner or any CEO should think about harmonize the, you know, the workplace and the policies, the careers development, you know, mechanisms, you know, in a different way. You cannot have one size fits all, because we have different requirements. And this is just, you know, a simple example to explain in more practical ways what I mean by gender harmony against gender equality.
Very well said. And so, in fact, we have some amazing comments, and the viewers are really enjoying this conversation. But there's a friend of mine, Dory, who's commented, which says that one can never, there's no difference between men and women. They're both essential and both have their uniqueness. We need to respect their uniqueness, which is absolutely true.
Exactly.
But the reason I brought up this topic is because I feel just like the word women empowerment is being misused because of this whole story, even gender equality is misused. So it's very important to understand that all things given to be equal, then yes, you know, but there are situations where this expectation has become completely different, which I don't understand and I don't relate with, which is why I agree with gender harmony more than gender equality in certain circumstances. And yes, in professional
Absolutely.
circumstances, we need gender equality, no doubt about it. But let's not take it home. You know, it's
No,
okay.
but it's okay. Let me also, because you mentioned the United Nations and also other, you know, entities are conceiving gender equality like having the same numbers of men and women in an organization. But this is totally against merit and productivity, you see, because you cannot just have statistics that say, okay, I'm successful because I've reached the same number of men and same number of women. That's absolutely unconceivable from a productivity and meritocracy standpoint, you see. So I may agree to the concept that say, okay, if you have a male candidate, a female candidate, they are absolutely the same. You may want to privilege the recruitment of a woman. I may, agree with that concept. But nowadays it has become like pure statistics, pure numbers. Even in the parliaments worldwide, there is this tendency to have the same number, the so-called pink quotes, right? The same numbers of parliamentarians. But it doesn't make sense because you may have more women capable than men. So why you should equalize that? You see what I mean? So it has, I think, lost a bit of sense, and the concept has been impoverished by using this, mechanical and statistical parameters. So I would like to encourage, as you are doing, and thank you for raising the issue, Shalini, and with your platform, Women on Top. It's a phenomenal platform to convey these messages to massive and global audiences. So we have to become a bit more human, you see. We have to consider more the differences, the complementarities, even the conflictuality that there is between men and women, but in a positive way, like in a constructive way, you see, and not discriminating in other sense, because now they are discriminating against men, but then it's bad. I mean, you discriminate against anybody is not good. You see what I mean? So
finally, you could take it. So a friend of mine also mentions that exactly as you said, it should be based on the candidate skill set and qualifications to increase productivity. That's Ashu who says that. I think that's a super comment, Ashu. Thanks so much for watching us. Before we end it, I do want to tell you that, Enzo, I know you speak multiple languages. You speak Italian, French, etc., right? So which is the language you use the most?
It depends on the phases of my life. It depends on where I am, But I like to learn languages, and I never learned Indian yet. But who knows? Maybe it's the next one. But I learned Russian. I learned to speak Russian when I was 40. So this is another issue that people think that with age, you have to limit your opportunities and your capabilities. But I think exactly the opposite. I think that the more we age, the more opportunities we have and more things we can do. So probably in my 60s, I will learn Indian too. Who knows?
Absolutely. And Ashu actually says that you'll have to learn Hindi next. So I'm going to make sure that I teach you. But the reason I was asking you is that I want you to give out a message to all the people out there, something which keeps them positive, but say it in Italian or in French and then translate it. We can have our Monaco and Italy guests as well to understand it. And then please say it in English for my Indian guests. Thanks so much.
Okay, so you want me to say something nice in Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian?
Whichever. No, say it in one of the languages and translate it.
Okay, so let me say, in italiano vorrei dire che sono molto contento di essere qui con te oggi e di condividere i miei pensieri con la tua audience.
Okay. Nice. You have to translate it for the audience as well.
That's okay. Yeah, that's right. I mean, audience, I don't even know how to say that in Italian. It must be some strange word. But yeah, actually, that would be nice to make, these shows in different languages to reach out, maybe other
No, but
markets.
Enzo, you have to translate what you said. What you said in Italian, if you can
Okay.
translate it in English for everybody to know.
I say that I'm honored and very happy to be on your show because you are a special person, and I'm sure that also your audience is special like you. And that's what I said.
That is so sweet. And so we are all so grateful to have had you here to give us your insights. And please tell everybody how they can reach you, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that would want to reach you for multiple reasons. You're expert for one. Please do give your social media handles so that people can reach you.
Absolutely. So I'm going to launch my new digital platform on 15th of June. So stay tuned. It will be on www.enzo.global. And then from that hub of knowledge, I will I will focus my content curation on three main topics. One is, as you say, psychophysical balance, which includes spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, and aesthetical abilities. So I will teach techniques on each one of these 5 human spheres to become, more performing, having more energy, and more radiance in our interpersonal relations. So this is one topic. The other one will be women, empowerment and gender harmony, and I will do that with you, Shalini, as we already agreed. So now we are actually making it public. It's a commitment. We cannot under-deliver anymore. And then the third areas of my expertise is digital branding and the use of new technologies for massive and global reach out, so that we can actually spread messages to a larger portion of the planetary population. We aim at reaching out to 1 billion people in the next 2 years, and so that we can actually have an impact and influence on environmental or other social issues. So please stay tuned, and of course on Facebook, LinkedIn, and I'm going to launch also my Instagram soon. So stay tuned, and I look forward to sharing my creative content with you all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Enzo. Thanks yet again for being on the show, and thank you everybody for watching. I think I can read a lot of people saying this has been one of the best sessions. Really grateful for that. And I want to tell you all that no matter what's going on, stay positive. And stay positive doesn't mean that everything's got to be okay. Staying positive means that whatever happens, you will be okay. So stay positive, stay healthy, and stay at home so we all stay safe. Miss you guys. Keep watching. Shalini Says Wine Shine Quarantine. Thank you from Enzo and me. Until next time.
Thank you. Bye.